How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zen over here with a brand new Taboo Tattoo episode review. And for today's segment, folks, I'm going to be talking about episode 2 of Taboo Tattoo. Now, in this episode, folks, I actually was a little bit more, I would say, I was actually pleased, to be honest. I actually really was, guys. I really was pleased. And the reason I say this is because the story was done just a little bit better. The little comedy skits they were introducing in there was shown a little bit more funnier, to be honest. And personally, the story overall now actually was starting to flow better too at the same time. Because the previous episode, like some parts of the story were just not really connecting me. But now when I was actually watching this episode, I was like, okay, hold on. Episode 2 is now starting to flow a little bit better, a little bit more smoother, and it's starting to introduce a bigger cast in this episode too. That it didn't really show in the first episode. But remember, the first episode was all about introduction, and this episode is still introducing, but it's giving us a concrete structure in this episode as well. You could kind of say, because of the fact that they're showing who the evil villains are. They're showing now what's at stake at hand, and what the all concrete of the whole entire series is basically what they're going to be doing now. And basically, the U.S. Army now is like, this is what is basically happening in the episode. The U.S. Army is basically, like I said, is basically fighting against the Kingdom in an arms race against the Sealed, because the Sealed are basically the weapons in order that can like defeat the opposite army. But apparently the Sealed are kind of scattered in a sense into the U.S. Army and the Kingdom. So they're kind of like trying to see who has. It's kind of like a chess game, guys, where they're trying to see who has the better Sealed players in a sense. Now, the reason that this episode, to me, actually personally also feel a bit better is because it wasn't as immature as in the first episode was. The comedy skits in this were a little bit more R-rated, as you could say. They were ecchi. There you go. I should say more. The little skits were a little bit more ecchi in a sense. And that's what kind of made me a little laugh at the same time. Because it kind of threw me off in a direction. I was like, oh, I can't believe they actually did this in this episode. Oh, okay. They're really kind of showcasing Toka's, big breasts, And I'm like, okay, we can go along with that. Okay, that's fun. As long as they don't overdo it, then that's okay, in my opinion. But let's just hope they don't overuse that. That's what I'm just hoping for. Let's just hope they don't use it. But let's get on with the review, guys. Now, for the summary of the episode, it kind of involved, Segi coming back into his own homeroom, or I'm sorry, he's back at home with Izzy and Tom, and they were explaining what his power is, basically the tattoo itself, and they're giving him an option as to, would you like to keep the power, or do you want us to take it from you? You have the option to choose now, and we're being sincere about it because, you're kind of thrown into something that you're not really supposed to be in, since you're just a little kid. But we're gonna give you the option of just backing out now. It's your decision. Take your time. I like how Tom and them were kind of going with it. But they're also kind of telling me, like, don't be ignorant with the power too. If you plan on keeping it, don't be ignorant, and you gotta accept the consequences of it. So man up, basically. And I kind of was thinking, like, okay, Izzy and Tom, what they're basically saying is kind of true too. You gotta accept the consequences of accepting this like contract that you have with the Seal, basically. And now that was basically like the little first half, because then basically they kind of went on to little ecchi scenes with Toka and Izzy. Oh, and by the way, that Izzy now actually joined Segi's homeroom class, folks, in order to keep an eye on freaking Segi. And I kind of personally found that a little bit funny in a sense too, is because the fact that she is basically like, they imply that she's actually Izzy is very old because of the taboo contract that she kind of has with her tattoo. So basically, she's just there for fun, and she's actually teasing Toka and Segi's little love interest, or little friendship, as you kind of say. And so she's basically just having fun, but she's also keeping an eye on Segi himself. But then the episode kind of then moves along line with the Kingdom and what their actual intentions are. And the Kingdom itself was kind of like shown as a very strong military force, but the princess actually took over the Kingdom itself. And that's what kind of it kind of throws you viewers as to, like, holy snap, okay, this princess Ariabata she is basically like a nonchalant, very sadistic and narcissistic too at the same time. Like, just like the evil of all evil woman. That just sounds very immature of me to say. She's just a very malicious person. There you go. I'm sorry, folks. That was very immature. But the point is that she was very distraught, and like she seemed very, very bored too at the same time as to what the kingdom was doing. So she took over it, and now she's actually sending her forces to go find the seal tattoo, or the triggerless tattoo that Segi has. And that's what basically the episode kind of ends off in right there, because of the fact that, well, then later on, Tom and Izzy invite Segi to the house in order to, basically kind of inform more and to get his answer as to what would you like? Are you going to keep the tattoo or not? But then at Braham's forces kind of then infiltrate, kind of, like I said, like it's just basically a battle-oriented anime. It's just like a little bit of plot and action, plot and action, plot and action. That's how it's basically kind of going with. And then you kind of see that the Braham forces, they're actually very entertaining too. Their personalities are kind of very interesting to be. In my personal opinion, the Braham forces were pretty kind of funny too, because the fact that one of Braham's forces was R.R. Laka, and he kind of reminded me of Hisaka when he was starting to fight freaking Izzy, and I personally found that hilarious because he likes young children, but like the female. He likes young female children. So I'm not here thinking like, oh, that kind of reminds me of Hisaka, except Hisaka likes males, but Laka likes little girls. Interesting in a sense, But like I said, folks, the episode was fairly entertaining, and I'm kind of going along the line as to what the heck is going on with the kingdom itself, as to what are their intentions, what are these guys actually, what is their main goal? I mean, they already took over the kingdom. I mean, come on, what more do they want? Do they just want to kill all the other tattoos, or is it just they only want to get the Triggerless tattoo? Because the fact that the whole episode was more along the case involving with the Triggerless tattoo, and even the U.S. Army wants the Triggerless tattoo. So the Triggerless tattoos might seem to be the most powerful tattoo, and in the case of Segi, he basically is going to be the most important character. And I guess that's how they're kind of emphasizing the fact that Segi is going to be a very important character in the later episodes, because the tattoo that he has is what everybody wants. The U.S. Army wants that, and the kingdom wants that. Now that is actually, now it's starting to see, like I said, the episode is starting to make a little bit more sense as to how Segi's going to become an important character. But the thing that kind of still a little bit bothered me as to that homeless man. That homeless man is kind of bothering me. Is he really a homeless man, or is he someone important too? Because of the fact that, why did he choose Segi? I mean, come on, you just chose a random person to say, oh, here, take this powerful item. So I'm probably thinking that was probably choreographed in order. They were probably keeping track of Segi himself in order to give that tattoo personally to him. And that's what I'm kind of personally thinking. If they're gonna go with the same TV trope thing as like he's like a Destiny Child or something along the line of that. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. But then again, it could go on for like a different direction. But like I said, folks, this anime is becoming very entertaining in its own way. And I'm kind of excited for the next episode as to the fight scenes are kind of escalating, because Toka is now mind controlled by one of the Braham forces. And I'm actually kind of curious as to, is Toka mind controlled, or did that Braham force like switch bodies? Because it was kind of weird in a sense. But like I said, folks, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about the episode. Did you guys enjoy the episode? Did you guys find the Braham forces very, I would say like a downright evil characters as they were portrayed, or was that very cliche in a sense? Like I said, folks, let me know down in the comment section, folks, what you guys thought about the episode. And as always, have a wonderful day. But don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, folks, if you enjoy my content. But this is Mr. Zen, signing out.